Scooters, once a thing of status symbol in the 80s and 90s, have now become a necessity in the 21st century in almost every household in India. Our country is the largest two-wheeler market in the world, and while we have an array of options in the entry-level segment, it is the higher end of the spectrum which our country has always lacked in. High-end scooters have started to become a thing now, and what we have here today with us is the second most expensive scooter in the country. Welcome to Evo India. My name is Mandar, and welcome to the first ride review of the Keeway Sixties 300i. But before we begin, first a little overview about the brand itself. Now, Keeway is a Hungarian brand which is owned by a Chinese company, the Keangjiang Group. The same folks who also own Benelli. The Sixties 300i here with its maxi-scooter sibling, the Vieste 300, are its initial products for the Indian market. The company has a total of 8 products in its lineup which it plans to introduce by the end of 2022. Let's see how that turns out, but today let's focus on this thing right here. Let us start with the styling. Upon first look, most of y'all will agree that this is a very eye-catchy machine. The Sixties 300i, it gets this automobile-inspired retro theme grille at the front, which also houses a pair of round turn indicators and a hexagonal LED headlight. Not to forget this fender ornament, which I think looks absolutely cool. Moving on to the sides, it gets a split seat setup and this 4 wooden panel on the floorboards. Also this rear-mounted carrier as well. But it is this back end. Just look at it. I think this is the best part of the Keeway Sixties 300i. With these vertically set tail lights, I think it looks absolutely wonderful. This is a contemporary design that is done absolutely spot on. With enough retro touches, but also modern bits like LED lighting all around. Powering the Sixties 300i is a 278cc single-cylinder liquid-cooled engine. And this engine, it is one of the highlights of this scooter. It produces 18.1 bhp and 22 Newton meters of torque. And while those figures aren't exactly impressive for an engine of this size, they are enough to give the Sixties 300i a lot of punchy performance. This engine, it provides good low-end and mid-range grunt, but it is also very thirsty. We saw the Sixties 300i returning about 21 to 22 kmpl. Thankfully, it has a large 10-litre fuel tank, so range shouldn't be a big issue. The Sixties 300i, it offers strong acceleration till about 80 kmph. This is a scooter which can easily sit at 100 kmph out on the open highways all day long without breaking a sweat. Its engine, it is refined as well as smooth. Yes, there are a few vibrations at idle, but those diminish very quickly once you start moving. Now, if you like a scooter that is filled with features up to the brim, well, this thing isn't for you. Because it doesn't exactly have a lot of things to boast about. It gets a semi-digital instrument screen and a USB charging port down here. And that is about it. There's no fancy TFT screen of any sort, nor is there any smartphone connectivity or Bluetooth connectivity. When it comes to comfort, the Sixties 300i shines much better than you'd expect. Why am I saying that? Because this is a scooter that is set up a little on the firmer side. Yet it does a wonderful job of tackling potholes and also maneuvering through the sharpest of the speed bumps that our country has to offer. It gets this upright handlebar setup and a fairly good amount of room on the floorboard. Keep in mind, I am 5'8", so a person who is 6 foot or above might feel a little cozy in here. The Sixties 300i also gets a large under-seat storage space. The cavity is wide and you can easily fit in a half-face helmet in there. On the safety front, the Sixties 300i, it gets dual-channel ABS as standard. While that is expected for this price point and it is a very good thing to have, this system, it is a little too intrusive and it kicks in much earlier than you'd expect. The braking duties of the Sixties 300i, they are handled by disc calipers at the front and back. They provide excellent feedback as well as bite and do a wonderful job of slowing this near 150 kilo scooter down to zero very well. At rupees 2.99 lakh ex-showroom Delhi, the Keeway Sixties 300i, it surely is an expensive proposition. And at that price point, it sits in its own niche category. It doesn't have any rivals as such. This is a scooter that you buy with your heart and not your head. Sure, it has punchy performance, these notable looks, but it also suffers in a lot of other departments. The most obvious of which is the fit and finish levels. The fit and finish levels on this scooter is nowhere near compared to that on a rupees 3 lakh motorcycle. And that honestly makes it a very hard recommendation for anybody in that case. But that one buyer who's looking for a scooter that stands out in the crowd, has strong mechanicals, and honestly just doesn't care about what he can pay for a product like this. Do let us know in the comments below if you would also like to own a Keeway Sixties 300i and would like to have it in your garage. And for more things, thrill of riding and thrill of driving, stay tuned to the Evo India YouTube channel.